Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So today we're going to be doing enemies to lovers recommendations for you guys. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway, and our next level is going to be 500. So Mandy, at 500, what are we giving away?
Okay, we're going to give away this cinch sack. It's full of swag and also includes a book.
Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I'm actually chewing up my own candy.
So make sure to hit that subscribe button here, like our video, get an extra entry by following us on Instagram.
Yes, definitely. And all that will be linked below in the description.
All right. Jessica.
Yes.
Your first enemies to lovers.
Okay, my first enemies to lovers is right here. I had to grab it. The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is obviously a really popular right now, and it is making its way around everywhere. But it's definitely enemies to lovers. You have Violet, who is our heroine. This is fantasy. There's dragons. I've heard it described as Divergent with dragons, and that's exactly what it is. But it is really good, and the hype is definitely worth it. I loved it. So this is about Violet and Xaden, and Violet has been raised to be a scribe. So like in this world, there's different, I mean, for lack of a better term, factions. Like you're either going to be a scribe, or you're going to be, one of their doctor people, or you're going to be a dragon rider. And her mom and her sister and her brother were all dragon riders. Her brother has since died. Her mom is like the big general of the dragon riders. Her sister is a dragon rider, but her dad was a scribe, and she's supposed to be a scribe. And so all her life she is trained to be a scribe, and then all of a sudden her mom, who's a cold-hearted bitch, has decided that she is going to be a dragon rider like the rest of her family. And so she's had 6 months to train, where the rest of these people have had their whole lives to train. And so in the past 6 months she's trained, and she has to go through all these trials, and to be a dragon rider. Like on day one of these trials, that just to get to the school, they have to cross this bridge where like kids die crossing the bridge to get to the school to become a dragon rider. You just start day one, class one, to be a dragon rider. These kids die on the way there. So it's very treacherous just to even get to the class to survive. So she meets Xaden, and Xaden's family was a part of this uprising that happened years ago, where because of it, all of the children have been marked. The children of the parents were all killed, who were a part of this uprising. But because of that, there is a target on her back, and her and Xaden don't like each other because Xaden's, blames her family. Her mom was the general who put his parents to death because of it. And so from the get-go, he is a third year. He is, in charge of the first years, which is what she is at this dragon riding school. And she has a target on her back because she is weaker and she's smaller than everybody else, and she is the general's daughter. And so this is their story, and this is what happens to them, and it is so epic, and it is awesome. I cannot wait for the rest of it. Rebecca Yarros is an amazing author. She's getting a lot of hype because of this book, but Mandy and I can both tell you that the other books we have read of hers that are not fantasy are amazing, and she needs recognition for her contemporary romance as well. So go read her other books, not just this one.
Yeah. All right. Yes, I would agree.
Yeah. Okay. What's yours?
Okay. So my first book is called Stolen Moments by Katharina Mora. And
we're going to see her in Vegas.
Yes, I'm very excited about that. I love her writing. So this is a trilogy. So it's the Stolen Moments trilogy, but book one is also called Stolen Moments. And this follows Amelia and Carter. Don't be concerned, it's YA. Book one starts out where they're in high school, and it really builds what's happening. Book two is college, and book three follows them into adulthood. So while it does start in high school, it's not really YA. So this is, again, Amelia and Carter. Amelia lives with her dad. Her dad is extremely busy working guy. And so she spends most of her time with her best friend who lives right across the street, Kate, and Kate's family. And she has a very close relationship because her mom's not in the picture with Kate's mom. And so this feels like her family. Carter is Kate's older brother, and Carter and Amelia just kind of go head to head a lot. They play pranks on each other. They're just kind of mean to each other. So it's definitely got that enemies vibe until one day there is a kiss and things start to change. But part of the problem is that Kate is kind of jealous of her older brother's female attention, and she's had girls in the past try to befriend her just to get closer to her brother. So she makes Amelia swear like that she would never ever have feelings for Carter. And because Carter and Amelia like fight all the time and do these pranks and are kind of mean to each other, Amelia's like, no, don't have to worry about that. And then things drastically change. It is incredibly good. So good. Really good trilogy.
So my next book, I didn't realize that I swear I'm putting this on every list that I've done this month, and I didn't even realize it, but I think this is probably going to be one of my top reads of the month, and that's probably why. Oops. And that is Shallow River by H.D. Carlton. Swear this book needs more love than what it's getting.
I feel like this is the fourth time you've talked about it.
I feel like it is. I promise it'll be on my top reads of the month, and then we won't talk about it for a while. But it just I love this book. Everybody needs to read it. There's a reason why. So anyhow, this one is about River. River is in a relationship with Ryan, and she meets him in college. He's fast track to becoming an attorney, and she feels like, he is just, like, the ultimate, right? Like that is the guy that she needs to get with. After they're dating for a while, he takes her home to meet the family, and she meets his brother, Miko. She didn't even know he had a brother. Like he hadn't even told her anything about his family. This is his older brother, and he is a detective. And she, immediately they butt heads. She knows that Ryan can't stand him. Like she can tell that they don't get along. And so she and Miko immediately do not get along. Right away, Miko is trying to convince her to break up with Ryan and to get away from Ryan. And she cannot figure out why until Ryan starts beating her and starts abusing her. And then but yet they still don't get along because she can't understand why Miko can't see that she loves Ryan and the relationship will work itself out and he will stop hurting her. And so this is their relationship and their story. Eventually things will start to click and Miko will be there for her, but they hate each other in the beginning, because God forbid he wants to help her. I just don't get it. Yeah. You guys really got to read this book.
Okay. My next is a favorite of yours and I's.
Yes.
Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. So this is a dark romance. Check triggers. Like, I think we tell you enough. Like, please, if you watch any of our videos, always just check those if you think you might have any.
If you read any of my books, just check your triggers first.
This definitely needs the warning, though. I don't want people to think you're just going into a typical enemies to lovers type story with this one. So you'll kind of understand as I give a little brief synopsis. So this is about Cora and Dean. Dean is Cora's sister's boyfriend of like 15 years, and they do not get along. And like to say they don't get along is putting it pretty mildly. Like Dean is pretty mean to her, but he does it in this spirit of like, oh, he's pranking and stuff. But like his pranks go pretty far, like pretty far. So she is at her sister's birthday. She, through some misfortune, she kind of gets stranded there. She tries to get a hold of her sister. Her sister doesn't answer, but Dean does. So Dean agrees because he's not a complete like ass all the time. He agrees he's like, I'll come get you. He doesn't like want anything horrible to happen to her. He's not a complete ass like that. But anyway, so he goes to pick her up and they are then kidnapped basically by a psychopath. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He's a psychopath. He kidnaps people, keeps them in his basement, and he purposely tries to find people that don't like each other, that hate each other, and his goal is to make them fall in love with each other, and then he does like horrific things to them. So this is what happens. So they're kidnapped and they have to try and survive this and figure out how they're going to get out together, even though when they start, they hate each other. So that's the story. Don't really want to give more away. I don't think there's anything else to really say. It is a fantastic dark romance, fantastic enemies to lovers, but it's definitely not your traditional one.
Nope. All right, so this next one is very popular. And it's kind of like the ultimate enemies to lovers. So this is Twisted Pride by Cora Riley. This is a very popular one, but if you haven't read it, you really should. So this is the story of Remo and Serafina. So Remo is the capo of the Las Vegas Camorra, and Serafina is the niece to Dante Cavallaro, who is the oh my god, my brain just malfunctioned. Whew! He is the capo of the Chicago outfit. And so because of circumstances that happened earlier in the series, Remo wants revenge on the Chicago outfit. And so he decides that he is going to kidnap Serafina on her wedding day on the way to the church in her wedding dress. Because why wouldn't you? You know, so she's going to be marrying somebody else. He's an underboss. And Remo goes and kidnaps her on the way to the church. And that is like sacrilegious. That is something you do not do. You do not mess with brides. You do not mess with children and women, especially on their wedding days. And so he kidnaps her. He takes her back to Vegas and he keeps her prisoner while she's there. And then this is their story and the things that transpire because of that. So this is definitely enemies to lovers. They are from two different, rivaling families and factions and what happens with them. But oh my gosh, this is like the best. This one is the best. I'm telling you, out of all of them, this is one of the number one. This is just, he may be crazy and psycho, but good God, is he yummy. Mm-hmm. Yep, he's the best.
Funny.
Funny but true.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My next one is Drowning Aaron by Elizabeth O'Rourke. And honestly, you could do Waking Olivia as well. So it's both books are about, each book is about a brother. But I'm going to do Drowning Aaron because I haven't really talked about that one. And it's just as good as Waking Olivia. So this is about Aaron and Brendan. And Brendan is a man whore. Just put it politely. And he is her fiance. Like they haven't gotten married yet. Her fiance's best friend. But they've known each other when they were younger. They worked together. And he's always been just an absolute jerk to her. Like she could never do anything right when they worked together. And he just always picked at her. And he's just an ass to her. And he ends up going off somewhere for a while. And he's going to be moving back. And so her fiance says, yeah, of course, come stay with us in the pool house. But the problem is he's gone all the time. And so she's like, great. So this leaves me and Brendan here at the house together all the time. And like, he hates me. He's so mean to me. And you can just kind of use your imagination on where this story is going to go. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is fantastic, but that's all you need to know. So go read it.
Okay. Yes. I have another one that is a favorite of ours. It's a twisted favorite of ours, I should say. So that
are you gonna tell us?
That is The Tangle of Awful by Kay Webster.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought about that one.
Mm-hmm. So this is the story of Aubry, Hugo, and Spencer. So yes, there's three because this is a stepdad, stepbrother, stepdaughter romance. So the enemies to lovers comes in between the stepbrother, stepdaughter situation, which is Aubry and Spencer. So Aubry she lived with her mom and her stepbrother and stepfather. And she left to go live with her father because her and her stepbrother, Spencer, fought so much because the stepbrother Spencer picked on her so much all the time. And there was like, they tormented each other. They hated each other. They tormented each other. but Spencer was really awful to her. And so she went to go live with her dad for about a year. And now she has moved home. And it picks back up right where it left off. And there is a lot of hate being slung there, but mom has gone missing. And so she's come home, the daughter's come home, Aubry, and she's trying to figure out where mom is at. Meanwhile, dad is running for attorney general. Stepdad is running for attorney general. And things start to happen between the stepfather, the stepbrother, and the daughter. So it's all sorts of fun that happens there. But yeah, it's good. It's all good. And honestly, the stuff that like when things start to be like found out at the end, were you not as shocked as I was? Like I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, there's so much happening, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. But there's
No.
so much happening that it's hard to really be thinking too much about like how everything's going to be playing out because you're just so focused on like the pages and you're going through.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
good. So
It was
good.
very good.
Yeah.
I'm having notes problems. Like my book fell and it hit the cord of the ring light.
I've got a dog over here that can hear kids on the outside of the door, and so he's whining because he wants the kids.
So do you need to go let him out?
No, he just laid down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my next one is a novella, but I love this novella, so I wanted to include it. It's called Naughty Boss by Whitney G. Normally, novellas don't end up being a 5-star read for me just because, but this one was definitely a 5-star read. So this is about Michael and Maya. And Michael is the CEO of a company, and the company is getting ready to go like public on trading or something. So he has to clean up his image. And because he's the CEO of this company and he's worth all this money, he gets photographed a lot. And he is like in the tabloids a lot for like having sex with all these different people and things. So they're like, you have to clean up your image if we're going to take the company live. Like, you got to do this. So that's what he's working on. Maya becomes his PA, and he's just awful. Like he's demanding, and he like will send emails about everything she's supposed to do that day. And instead of saying thank you, he says you're welcome. Like he's just an arrogant ass. So she emails her friend quite frequently, like reason number 512 of why I hate my boss. And like she'll say like the stupid, annoying things he does, like with his emails and things. And she accidentally emails him the email. And that kind of sets off some things. And they end up kind of confronting each other, and it turns into a very steamy read from that point forward. I absolutely loved the emailing back and forth. I loved how steamy it was. It was just a great, quick enemies to lovers read.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that one a lot.
Yeah.
I
don't think I've talked about it a lot, but
well, not a lot, but we've talked about it quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So my last one is, I would call it a lovers to enemies to lovers book. Okay. Because they start out as lovers, then something happens and they hate each other. And then, then they become lovers. So that is Run, Posey Run by Kate C. Wells. I love this book. It was awesome. So this is about Dano and Posey. So Dario, I couldn't read my own handwriting. Dario and Posey. I'm like, what kind of name is Dano? But okay, Dario and Posey. So Dario is the mafia's money man in this situation. So this is a oh my gosh, I cannot talk. A mafia story. And he is really cold. He and Posey have been in a relationship for many, many years, and he's just very cold to her. He always has been. And he's just not affectionate, not very loving. He's just a little different. He might be a little neurodivergent from what we can tell. He's just not very lovey, cuddly kind of guy. And he's very emotionless. He's a self-proclaimed sociopath. And he gets a video sent to him, and it is of her having relations with someone else, and he immediately accuses her of cheating on him. And he tells her to, instead of like killing her, he's like, get out now, and you better run for your life. And so she takes off and runs. And he then finds out that, like, there's a way that he figures out with the timestamp or whatever, that it was a relationship from way before that they were together, and that somebody was behind that and they're trying to destroy something. Like, there's things behind why he got that. This video. And so then he goes and hunts her down. And then there's a hell of a lot of groveling that has to happen, and things happen, because then he goes and gets her and drags her back and she doesn't want to come back. But this story is just so good. It is just amazing. But yeah, there's a heck of a lot of groveling that has to happen, because she hates him for quite a while after that. But yep, so good.
Okay, my next book is Hollywood Rebel by Misty Murphy. And this is about Rebel. He just got out of jail. He is a movie star per se. He urinated on some dogs and has just really gotten himself quite the bad reputation. So he needs to clean this up. But he's not really wanting to, but he needs to, if that makes sense. So he gets out of jail, comes home to find that his brother's throwing this raging party, and he's not happy. So he goes to his part of the house, like the mansion, that is supposed to be off limits, where he stumbles upon Summer, who is basically looking at a full, huge nude portrait of him. And she trips and falls into a precariously interesting part of the painting, we shall say. And so they don't start off well. Yeah, things don't start off well. But she is only there to try and get him to sign with her, because she needs this to get some, to kind of save her job at the PR firm. She really needs to land somebody and really do well. And he wants nothing to do with her. And so she decides to camp out on his lawn until she gets his attention. Now, this is kind of your bad boy, good girl situation. He like pretty much doesn't really like anybody. So there's kind of this friction. They're not enemies in per se, like that something specific happened between them, but I felt like it really fit the enemies to lovers, because they don't like each other. Like, she just wants him as a client, and he just wants everybody to leave him alone, but he does want to fix the situation, but there's a lot more to him. I was totally hooked into this book from like the very, very beginning. So if you kind of are like me and you really don't like where, I guess this may be more of the bullying, I don't really care for that usually. So if you don't really care for that, but you're looking for like that friction where they don't just like each other to start with, this is a great one. It's a fantastic book. This also could have gone into my not hyped enough, because it's really not. Like, it has 490 ratings, but it's like one of my favorites. It's fantastic.
Cool.
Okay, your last one?
That one, I already did my last one.
Oh, you went first.
I went first. Yeah, so that's what we have for you guys.
All right.
So thank you so much for watching.
Make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us.
And we'll see you guys in the next video.